Good afternoon, everybody. In today's class, let us continue the discussion over the antenna parameters. Let me revise which all parameters we have already covered. We started with the power density. We saw the equation and what is the impedance value. Here it is unknown, that is 377 ohm. Then we came across what we call a graph patterns, which will give us the information about the field or the power variation. Okay, and we make use of spherical coordinate system here, and the spherical coordinates theta and phi. This is the figure. This is how any pattern looks like, three-dimensional. I cannot draw it on this, so I have just pasted the whatever information is given in the textbook, that I have taken the pic and pasted it here. This field pattern, it is a two-dimensional view. If you just cross section, if you take it, it looks like this. Then normalize the pattern you have seen. For any given value, if you divide it by its maximum value, you get the normalized value. It is applicable to any of the values. Okay, even in mathematics we have done this normalization. Then we came across beam area. We had started with beam area. Beam area, alternative synonym used is beam solid angle. Okay, solid angle, three-dimensional. The beam area or the solid angle, it is the angle through which the maximum power is radiated by the antenna. If some power, say P, which is a function of theta and phi, it is maintained to its maximum value. Let me just draw it here. Assume that this is the battery torch and your radiation light is coming like this. If this is your area of cross section, this particular angle, okay, beam area, we call this beam area when the power is maintained to the maximum level. This is called beam area, the covered, okay, beam, the word represents beam area, the area covered, okay. And please go through this figure in detail. You can see I had told you this is your main lobe, and these small portions are the side lobes, and this one is the back lobe. Back lobe is considered for omnidirectional antenna. If the antenna radiates, that is transmits and accepts in all the directions, then this back lobe come into picture. Out of this, the important parameter is this main lobe, because whatever measurements are done, they are through this main lobe only. For example, in earlier days, when the TV sets used to be installed at your houses, you might have observed this kind of structure on your terrace roof, okay, something like this. This is one kind of antenna. If old, CRT TVs, where if you have seen, these kind of antenna setups used to come along with those TV sets. And if your TV is not receiving the signal, assume what you used to do. You used to just turn this to a certain particular direction. Then only that captures the signal. Okay, you might have experienced this at your houses. If you were having the CRT television sets. Nowadays, of course, you have LCD and LED TVs. This will not come into picture. However, nowadays whatever dishes are there, okay, this Tata Sky and DTH, those things, they are like, they radiate, they capture the signal throughout in most of the directions. No need to even align the signals. So this earlier days, what antenna we used to use in television sets, along with the television sets, that were called Yagi-Uda antennas. Okay, that you will study. This is about the main lobe. Just observe here in this picture the area covered between these two. I have just marked here by the dotted lines. Okay, this area, the first line, okay, not the second. this first line, the area between these two, the beam covered, we call this half power beam width. And these are the null points, nulls, okay? First null, second null, you will come across this, I'll explain to you later on. So these are the null points, and the area covered between these two, whatever the radiation comes out, the beam comes out, here we call it beam width between first nulls. In short, HPBW and BWFN. This was the structure explained in the previous class. Now, let us move further. We will just see what are some points regarding this beam area. First of all, it is measured on the main lobe. That's what I said. Anyhow, you have side lobes and back lobe. The major radiation point, it is measured with respect to this main lobe only, between the points where the radiated power is half of its maximum value, that is HPBW, okay? General tendency is half of the maximum value means, if say assume you have P as your maximum value, half of the maximum value means generally 50% means P by 2 you take it, right? But when the power hits half, what is the voltage value? That is very important. Okay, this you might have studied in your filters concepts, in filters, in probably some of the amplifiers, low pass, high pass, band pass filters. When you draw frequency response curve, something like this, okay, some example I am taking you. When this is your maximum value, this is your decibel scale, 0 and so on, minus in negatives, at minus 3 dB, okay, at minus 3 dB level, this voltage value is 0.707, and the 0.707 equivalent value is 1 by root 2, okay. So no doubt half of the maximum power means P by 2. But when we talk about in terms of voltage, it is 0.707, and you might be already knowing why it is 3 dB. Okay, generally 3 dB roll off you have seen even in filters and the frequency responses. 3 dB, 6 dB, 9 dB, like that. Okay. So no need to explain you that 3 dB rule it is. You just go through. If you don't know what is 3 dB rule, that you please go through from the internet. Okay. So important parameter is power is half of the maximum value between these 2 points, that we call it as half power beam width. No doubt it is divided by 2, but in terms of voltage, we will be having 1 by root 2, 0.707. Okay, this is one thing. Then that's what half of its maximum value, hence it is called half power beam width. Sometimes beam width is also described in terms of angular width between nulls. That's what I have shown you already in the figure, BWFN, beam width between first nulls. Okay. Then this is important if problems are concerned. The beam area, this omega suffix capital A, beam area or beam solid angle, it is generally given by mathematically it is analyzed as double integral of, this double integral means a surface integral, right? Surface integral of the power, normalized power, into sine theta d theta d phi, and this P kept it as it is. Whatever suffix you have here after P, just let us denote that as d omega. This is very important. What is d omega? D omega is sine theta d theta d phi. You can just have a look here also. I have drawn one figure. This is your actual beam width, right? And beam width between these two lines, we call it as theta HP. Okay, this is your actual beam area, out of which In between these two, this we call it theta HP. HP means half power. This is with respect to theta. As I cannot draw the three-dimensional view, and whatever patterns are drawn, there these will be having the 3D graph, three-dimensional graph. So the same is applicable to phi also. Phi HP, theta HP and phi HP, spherical coordinate system. Now, this is very important. Let me just zoom it a little bit. Okay, I hope it is now very clearly visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this is your Z, this is your Y, this is your X, it is your cut. Okay, this is X. This I am showing you a spherical coordinate system. This figure is important for our next equations. So I am explaining you this figure. Just now I have told you d omega is your fractional incremental value of omega is your beam width or beam solid angle. And whenever we come across a spherical coordinate system, this is the direction, clockwise direction, theta is measured, and this is the direction how phi is measured. Okay. And for our pattern, beam width, theta and phi both are very important. Okay. Now what we have done here in this overall spherical coordinate system, we have considered a small patch. Okay, a small patch. This area is dA, not capital A. D of A means a small area. If you just integrate, you will get overall. Okay? A small incremental value is dA. Now, how to get this area? Here directly it is written r square sine theta d theta d phi. How we got that? Okay, that we will see it. Yeah. Okay, see here in polar coordinates, incremental area dA, that's what I have shown you here, this one, dA on the surface of a sphere. See, imagine this somewhat like this, okay? Let me try drawing it. If this is your sphere, ball hai, this is the center point. A piece of, if you just imagine, a piece has been taken out from that, somewhat like how you cut the watermelon, okay? One piece you remove it, and the inside portion what is seen is this. I hope you imagine this. Watermelon, when you cut it, okay, when you ask the vendor to show the color, he will cut somewhat like this and show you the color. Inside, from the top view, you can view this structure. These are the edges, 1 line, 2 line and 3 line, and remaining entire, remaining will be this entire circle. Okay, I hope you can imagine this, okay? Close your eyes and try to imagine the watermelon. Okay. Okay. dA on the surface of the sphere, how this area can be got? Length into breadth, okay? There are sides, and if you just take this as a square, if 2 sides are known to us, we can calculate the area. So you can just think that this dA is r square sine theta d phi. This is actually product of 2 lengths of sides. Like this, you have a patch. Okay, you have considered the area, 1 length and 1 length. If these 2 lengths are known to you, just the product of these 2 will give you this area, that is r square sine theta d phi. Length r d theta. Okay, how I got this r d theta? if this, I hope you can see the cursor on the screen, okay, whatever I am moving, cursor, I hope it is visible to all of you, or shall I use the pointer? Okay. If this is the direction how we measure the theta, and this small portion of area dA we have considered, so through this area only d theta will be the angle, not overall. Overall will be theta. A small portion of area will be covering a small portion of angle d theta. Okay, I hope this you got it. This is your d theta, and if you see this distance, see here below, this is the distance r for a sphere, radius sphere. Sphere's radius is r from the center point till the edge. It is r. It is just projected here. Okay, from the center point, keeping it a point here, it is just a projection. So this length, whatever is considered, this length is r, smaller, radius of the sphere. Now, how I got r d theta? Let me explain that to you. Yes? Any doubt? Okay, how I got r into d theta, let me see. I hope you remember how you did the angle values. You have studied units and dimensions in your physics chapters in PUC probably. You might have studied this. Whenever, even in electromagnetics, we have repeated this. Okay, if this is your angle, say some theta, and if this is your radius, what is this length? How to find the length? Anybody? Just try. I have written here one formula. Angle is equal to arc by radius. Arc is this portion, okay? Arrow marked portion. This is arc, and divided by radius, out of which we want now arc, okay? This is unknown to us because, yes, this is the arc, okay? This is unknown to us. Angle is there, radius is there. Both are there. Arc is unknown to us. So how to find the arc? Angle into radius. So what is the angle? Theta into r. But here in our figure, check what is the angle? It is d theta. D theta into r. Yeah, that's why we will get r into d theta at one length. I hope you got this point.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, shall we move to the next point? One more length we want. So that if you multiply these two, you will get the area. So out of this complete value, 1 r and d theta is confirmed now. Now remaining is r sin theta and d phi. We have to check it, how we get this one more length as this. Okay, let me continue. So we have seen now how we got r d theta. Similarly, let us see how we got this one more. You can see it on the screen. Here it is written this as r sin theta into d phi. Before going to that, you have to now imagine here, this is on the ground, we have certain triangle kind of shape, right? Which is equal to, this is your angle phi direction and a small portion is d phi. This is your arc. So arc, just now we have seen how to calculate the arc. It is radius into the angle. Radius into the angle. This is about this lower diagram, which is below exactly. Okay. Now, if you just simply take the projection of this, you can see it, how to take the projection of this. Just drag it up to the point 0, theta equals to 0. If you extend it, when it intersects here, it is the projection. How you can imagine this is, if you are standing here somewhere like this, and if this is your shadow which is on the ground, right? So it is simply your projection, right, on the ground. Whatever you are standing, depending on your height and the position of the sunlight, your body projection is appearing in the form of a shadow. Similar to like that, this is on the ground, we have a structure. If you simply project it and extend it, it looks somewhere like this. These two are the projections, one of the other. Okay, I hope you understood the meaning of the projection. So if you take the projection, the projection of this is the angle theta, because this is the direction of theta. So this is the angle theta, and this line is a radius, so its projection is this, right? So it is r. So what I will do, I will simply take the triangle here. This is your theta and this is your r. Okay. If this is your base, this is your hypotenuse, this is your opposite. We want this line now, right? This straight line we want. What is that straight line? It is opposite. Opposite equation will come in sine angle, right? So sine theta is equal to opposite by hypotenuse. So opposite we don't know, I will keep it as it is. Hypotenuse is your radius of the sphere. Radius of the sphere r. So what is opposite is equal to? It is r sine theta. So I think you understood now how we got this r sine theta. Just based on this triangle, we got r sine theta. So once we got this length, let's see further. This is your d5. d5. This is your arc. This is your angle. Okay, this is your arc. Let me just draw it one more time. This is your arc. Here you have extended area. This area just now we have calculated r d theta. This one we want now. This highlighted. Let me see. Let me take one more color. This we want now. For that, what we will do? Just now we have calculated this side. R sine theta, and this angle, if you see the projection, this angle is d phi, the same projection is here, so this angle is d phi. So according to the angle formula, how to find this arc? Arc is equal to, radius into angle, I guess, right? Angle is equal to arc by radius. So arc is equal to angle into radius. So angle is d phi and radius is, just now we have got r sine theta. So it is r sine theta. So I hope you got this, How r sine theta, it is not sine theta and d phi. Yes, d phi into r sine theta. So one more term we have got this. One is r d theta, one length. One more is r sine theta into d phi. So if you just multiply these two, just multiply r d theta and r sine theta d phi, you will get this area. Okay, and out of which r square they have kept it as it is, remaining whatever is there, sine theta, d phi, it is substituted as d omega, and this d omega we call it solid angle. So I hope you understood this.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and if you just observe here, something is written here, sine theta r d phi, some value is written here. This strip has an area. Now if you just take a complete strip in the sphere, out of which we have calculated only for this much area, overall if you want to take what it should be, they have simply applied the circumference, right, 2 pi r. So that they have applied, but don't bother about it. We are not going to use it anywhere. Simply you should know how the area is equal to this much. So from this structure you should get this patch, whatever you have taken, this patch length and width. These two values when you multiply, you will get this area dA. Okay. Now that's what is written here. dA is equal to this much, where d omega is the solid angle, and you know angle is measured in either degrees or radians. Similarly, solid angle is measured in square degrees or steradians. Okay, steradian is the measurement used for solid angle. Radian is the measurement used for a simple angle. Okay. Okay, these calculations are important. Area of the sphere is 4 pi r square, you know this already, right? Area of the circle is pi r square. So if you just compare circle and the sphere, 4 times it is bigger for sphere. So 4 pi into r square is the area of the sphere. Now 1 steradian is equal to, this is important, 1 steradian is equal to 1 SR, solid angle of the sphere divided by 4 pi. Now we will check what is the solid angle of the sphere. Anybody knows what is the angle subtended by the sphere? What is the overall angle subtended by the circle? Anybody? This is a circle. What is the maximum angle that you get? 360 for circle. Similarly for sphere, just now I have told you the difference in circle and the sphere. It is 4 times. So 4 pi. Okay. From this specific equation, we will try to get solid angle of the sphere. 1 steradian is equal to solid angle of the sphere divided by 4 pi. So that's why 4 pi steradian. Why 4 pi only? Because sphere, it is 4 times the circle. So 4 pi steradian is equal to 4 pi into, I have used this term. Okay, this into this, just multiply it, 4 pi into 1 steradian, which is equal to 3282. How I got this 3282? If you just convert radian to, degree value to radian and radian to degree, if you remember, for 1 radian, it is 180 by pi you should multiply. Then you will get the answer in degrees. Similarly, radian square, that is steradian, 180 by pi whole square you should take, not simply 180 by pi, 180 by pi whole square. Then the answer will be in square degrees. So that is 180 by pi whole square. If you calculate, you will get 3282 square degrees. That's why 4 pi steradian is 4 pi into whatever you got in square degrees. Put that, it is somewhat 41252.96 or approximately 41253. You just observe here, I have put a square box like this on the top as a a superscript. Whenever you write any angle, how you write? 90 degrees. Okay, this circle indicates a degree. So square degrees means, just I am writing it, I am showing you 90. This indicates square degrees. This is the solid angle of the sphere. So in short, I have just printed it here. Solid angle 1 steradian is 3283 square degrees in sphere, which is approximately 41253. Okay, so some simple calculations which you may need it in problems. So I hope you understood till this. Any doubts? We have discussed about the beam area. Important is that spherical coordinate system figure, how we get the area dA. Now we will move to the problems. Some 3 to 4 problems are there, then that is fine, enough. Shall I end this session and take one more session? Because again I have to just simply cut the recording. Now I'll end this session. Please join as early as possible, okay?